But today we're starting on the mat. We have got a circuit, so it's a mini Pilates circuit. I got this idea from my mentor, Joe Cobb, who you'll see in a few weeks' time. I have a podcast. My podcast is launching next week. I have a podcast interview with Joe, so you'll get to, and if you look on my channel as well, I already have a couple of interviews with Joe on there. Anyway, I say all that to say, I got the idea of the format from this class, from Joe, but I've kind of like substituted and put my own moves in there. So each move, we're going to go through a circuit. So each move, we do 6 repetitions. Then we go through the same moves again. We do 4 repetitions of each. We go through again, and then we do 2 repetitions of each. I will give you different options in case you don't want to do the original move that I demo. I'll give you some options so that it is beginner friendly. I like to keep these classes beginner friendly, but I also appreciate that some people want to explore other sort of depths of Pilates. So that's enough waffling from me. Let's bring ourselves onto our mats. What I might just do, just so that I'm a bit more central on my screen, if I can just move this mat, I might just bring it here. You want to make sure that you have space to bring your arms up and overhead and reach your legs out in front as well. And you also want to make sure that you, no, that's it. Let's bring ourselves onto, I don't know where I was going to go with that. We're onto our backs. We've got our feet flat onto the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. I have to move my hair out the way. Generally recommend having your hair in a high bun if you have long hair. It's kind to your hair. Anyway, that's another video. Let's bring ourselves onto our backs. We've got our hips onto the floor, and I'm just tucking and tilting the tailbone a few times here, mostly to settle myself down because I start way too high energy, which I cannot sustain through the class. So let me just calm down, bring ourselves into the room. Okay, I love doing these live classes. Okay, from here, you're going to settle into what we call our neutral position with the pelvis. So that's just not tucking and not tilting. Arms are down by our side in this low V position. The collarbone is smiling nice and wide. So 6 pelvic curls from here. So we take an inhale. Exhale, tailbone tilts towards the nose, and you're going to push into both feet. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. You want to get this sense of trying to open up the front of the hips without allowing the knees to drop inwards or out. So I'm leaving my thighs in a nice parallel position. Collarbone stays wide. And on our next exhale, we're going to bring the spine down. So that's 1. So we're going to speed it up here. So here's 2, lifting up. All 10 toes pushing into the floor. And back down. Keep going. Here's 3. So we've got 6 of these. So I'm trying to bring my spine up one part at a time. I always refer to it as like a string of pearls lifting off the mat. And when I bring my spine back down, I'm just trying to reverse that pattern. I believe we have 2 more. This is why I don't want to talk too much, because I can't count and talk. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, for sure. This is 1. Soften the spine to come down. On this next one, though, you're going to hold the hips up. So this is number 6. If it isn't, then just pretend it is. We're going to have the hips lifted and stay lifted. Now, you might want to walk your feet closer towards you because we're going to come up onto our heels 6 times. So we lift, so we come up onto our toes 6 times, lifting the heels and lower. Heels come up 2. Want the ankle bones facing, so the front of the ankles facing forward. That is 3. Here's 4. If lifting both is a bit much for today, you can alternate. And then last one here. Options, keep the heels lifted to roll down, or you can bring the heels back onto the floor. I'm going to try the heels lifted today, rolling all the way back down. Don't rush through the spine. Think one piece at a time. And then we got our feet flat onto the floor. From here, we're going to take the hands, interlace the fingers, hold on to the back of the head. Now, make sure those fingers are deeply interlaced. I cannot bear when I see people sort of doing these push-ups and they got a chest lifts and they got their hands here. The hands are here to support the head and neck, or support the neck. We lift the elbows so we can see them in our peripheral vision. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Find neutral position with the pelvis to begin with. And if you need to shift out of it, that's absolutely fine. But on your exhale, we're going to lift the head and chest. Inhale at the top and exhale down. So the breath pattern is a suggestion. The main thing is that there's a pause at the top and then we lower the head and chest. That is 2. If you're thinking about the gaze of your eye, you're going to bring them just above, gaze of your eyes just above your knees. So we make sure the chin doesn't poke up towards the ceiling. I believe we have 3 more. So here's 3. 2. Now on this last one, we hold at the top. Hold in here. Keep the breath nice and smooth. So we're not holding our breath, but holding the chest lifted as high as we can in a friendly way. And on your next exhale, you're going to tuck your tailbone towards your nose. And you're going to shift your hips down to neutral again. So again, exhale, tucking tailbone towards the nose. And then inhale back into neutral. Keeping the head relaxing into the hands. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Nice. Lower the head and chest here. Bring the arms out into a T position, gluing the legs together. Try and bring your rib cage so it's connected to your body as opposed to flaring up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to twist both knees to your right. Just let the left foot stack directly on top of your right foot. Draw the rib cage back in the opposite direction. Keeping that left shoulder onto the floor. Exhale, bring the legs back through center. There's your spine twist, supine level 1. On the next version, I'll show you another level. Legs back through center. Keep going. We've got one more time each side. This is your level 1 spine twist supine. I will show you the full move or the other version of the move on the next round. Bringing legs back to center from here. We're going to hug the legs in towards the chest. So deeply hugging the thighs towards the chest. You can keep the head onto the floor or you can lift the head to see how that feels. I'm going to exhale, bring the knees, the thighs in towards my chest and inhale, lightly release. And exhale, draw in 2 and releasing. 3, checking my notes. 4, I've got one more move after this. 5, one more here. And 6, option to keep the head lifted or you can bring the head down. We're going into our double leg stretch. So we inhale, reach the arms and legs away from us. We exhale, circle the arms and bring the legs back in. You can either circle the arms or if you haven't got space, you can just bring the arms straight back forward again. And in reaching, this is 3. Head can stay down if you need it. 2, 4. I'm keeping my tailbone low to the floor for this version. Last one. Hugging the knees in. Let's get the knees as close to the nose as we can. And then lower down the head and chest. 1 foot at a time onto the floor. Back into our pelvic curls. We've got 4 this time. So lifting. We've got the heels just under the creases of the knees. And come back down. There's 1. And lifting up 2. Pushing a hand into the floor. Keeping the big toes pressing down. Here's 3. Just move at your own pace. And on this 4th one, lifting the hips and keeping the hips lifted back into our heel lifts. So I might need to shift the feet closer. 4 heel lifts. 4 and lower. 3, try and keep the hips high. 2, remember ankles, front ankles facing forward. And 1, both heels come all the way down or keep them lifted. I'll demo both ways. And then bring the spine all the way down. Taking the hands, interlacing the fingers, hold on to the back of the head, coming back up into our chest lift. So our elbows stay nice and still in space. You've got them just in our peripheral vision. And lifting for 4. Hold. and down. So we're holding at the top, but not holding our breath. Keep breathing nice and smooth. So I exhale up, I inhale, pause, and I exhale down. But just choose a breath pattern that works for you. This is 3. I'm trying my best to count today. Choose that breath pattern that works for you. On this 4th one, we hold up top, and again, tucking the tailbone towards the nose, and then rocking the hips down towards the floor. Maybe just a neutral actually there, but we're tucking the tailbone in this direction, and we're rocking back into neutral. That's 2. Keeping head, chest lifted if you can. Here's 3, and then last one here. Here's 4. Lower down the head and chest, arms come out into your T position. So option to do this version with the feet onto the floor. Option 2 for your spine twist supine is bring your legs into tabletop. Draw the rib cage down towards your body. Inhale, tilting both knees to your right. We need to lift up out underneath our left hip. And exhale, bring the legs back through center, tilting up and over. So I say up because my right hip that I'm twisting away from has to lift. And I draw my legs back through center using my right side of my rib cage. And then tilting over to your right. Back through center. Last one here, tilting over to your left. So we do the count of 4 on this one. And then legs back through center. From here, head can stay up or down, but I'm going to bring my head up to hug the legs in towards my body. 4 times. And release. And hug in 3. 2. So it gives you an idea of what your neck is okay with. If you want to bring the head down to floor, please do. There's always the option to have one hand behind the head as well. So we hug the legs in, come into our double leg stretch. So we inhale, reach, legs stay high. The arms are about the height of your ears. And closing back in. And reaching 2. And closing in. I can bring my head up a bit higher. Here's 3. Last one. 4. Arms come in, hugging the thighs in, and lower the head and chest down. Feet come back down onto the floor. Last round, it's 2 of everything. Collarbone nice and wide. Inhaling. Exhaling, peeling the spine up. Remember, we want those thighs parallel, all 10 toes pushing down to the floor. Exhale down. Now, we've only got 2 of these, so we just make the most of it. And then lifting 2. Holding. I almost forgot. Let's put the feet a bit closer if needed. So we can lift the heels twice. 1, lift up onto your toes, ankles, front of ankles facing forward, and lower down, hips high, and lifting 2. Holding them lifted, the heels lifted, or bringing the heels onto the floor, but we bring the spine back down, 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 taking your time to come down. So you did 2, and hit heels onto the floor, hands behind the head, interlacing the fingers, elbows wide and lifted, and we exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. And lower 1. And lifting 2. Oh, I forgot to hold at the top on that one. So we've done 3. So we hold up here, tuck the tailbone towards your nose. And rock the hips back into neutral position. And then tuck in the tailbone towards nose, hips back into neutral, hold, and then we lower the head and chest all the way down into your spine twist supine. So remember, you've got option 1, keeping the feet onto the floor. We're going to go for option 2, lift the legs. Shoulders from top to tip, anchor to the floor. Legs go over to your right, or knees over to your right. Exhale, draw back through center. Knees go over to your left. Last one, this is. And then legs come back through center. And now we hug the knees, the thighs in towards the body. Head stays down, or you can bring the head up. And we're going to hug the thighs in 1. And release. And then hug the thighs in 2. And release. And this time we hug the thighs in and hold. 2 double leg stretch. I'll show you the other demo. We can bring the arms and legs out long, and we can bring the arm and legs straight back in. That's 1. or you can bring the arms and legs out long, and you can circle the arms forward, and that's 2. Let's rock ourselves up to seated, sorry. All the way up. We're nearly done. We just have our mermaids to do just to finish off, just that we get a little bit of sideways flexion here. So I've just got this is my right leg out in front of me. This is my left leg out behind. You can start any way that you want to. I'm just giving you that for reference. And then from here, we've got the right hand down on the side, left arm comes up and reach up and over. Sort of like we did last week. And then we did mermaids last week. I can't quite remember which version now, but we're reversed. We're seeing some classical mermaids here. Just allow the ribcage to move freely. Here's 2. Reaching up and over, my ribcage arches up. We'll go 3. It's odd numbers, and we do 4. Let's keep it nice and even. Reversing our mermaid, reaching up over. 1 more. Each way. And reversing. From here, come out nice and tall. You're going to rotate towards your front legs. That's my right leg for me. Both hands onto your mat. And then from here, you're going to push into the hands. So both hands flat onto the floor, and you're going to push back. So the spine rolls back. Maybe the hips even roll back here as well. Just make it what it is for your body. It's really okay, whichever version or however it looks or feels. And then we're going to lift the chest. I'm pulling my chest through the center of my shoulders. And then maybe the hips roll forward here. Again, see what that's like for you. And then we push back. So we do 4 of these. And then pull forward. As you pull forward, lift the center of the chest, look up with the eyes and face. And this is 3. And all the way through. And then 1 more. And all the way through. Coming up in center, just de-rotate nice and gently. We do the same on the other side as well. I've got my Pilates hair going on. So I've got my left leg out in front now. The right leg is out behind me. Just finding a comfortable position here. If you find this really uncomfortable, I should have said this at the beginning, you can have both knees going in the same direction. You can also place something underneath your hip here, but this hip doesn't need to touch the floor. So it feels comfy. Left leg in front, left hand onto the floor, reaching up and over, coming into that mermaid. Oh, this side is tight, not gonna lie. And then we come up and over. Again, just allowing that rib cage to move, trying to keep as much as you can, trying to keep the chest facing forward. And then up and over. I'm trying to stop myself from giving too much direction on this, because I do actually want this to feel quite free. So I'm just giving a few hinters there. But you just feel what feels good and friendly and kind for your body. And we've got 2 more. I always think to myself, my classes are not, if you want those teachers who are really quiet for a class, I'm not the one. Your girl can talk. And then up and over. I'm here for the chat boxes. Last one, reaching up. Okay, both hands going over to the left. Make sure this right hand, or whichever hands are towards the front edge of the mat, just make sure it's really placed onto the mat here as well. And again, pushing back. So I'm pushing the back of my spine backwards, rounding as I come forward. So let's say if I come forward, I mean my chest is folding forward. And I pull my hands through my shoulders and I lift the chest. So now my spine is actually moving backwards into extension. And again, pushing through. So remember, I always say I try to move the spine in all of the directions. It isn't always going to be the case in these mini classes. I wanted to make sure that we had some extension here. And this is our extension here for the class. So we've had sideways, we've had forward, and now we're getting our backwards extension. Last one here, lifted the chest through. Nice, derotating. And look at that, 20 minutes dead on. We are all done. Thank you